Right, so in today's video, we're going to be talking about a situation that has went massive over the past few days, and it's involving an American influencer who recently spent some time in Australia. Okay, so the influencer you need to be aware of, we have her Instagram here because the TikTok account, I believe, has been banned, but the Instagram account is Sam Strays somewhere, and it has 95,000 followers. And recently, like I mentioned, she has been in Australia, and she has recently posted a video that has received a lot of backlash. Now, I'm about to play the video, but I'm going to be blurring the screen, and I'll explain why in a second, but just to add some context what this video is, because like I said, it's going to be blurred. The video's out there, like it's very easy to find. It's on literally every article at this point, it seems. But it is basically Sam Jones being recorded. It's on this road at night in Australia. There's a guy recording whose voice you'll hear throughout, and Sam walks over to these two wombats, one being the mother, one being like a baby wombat, and she picks up the baby wombat, and she's kind of like holding it away from her, like under its legs like this, and the bottom of its like body's like swinging around. And the reason I'm blurring it, and I don't want to show the full video, is because it's an animal that probably potentially is in distress, and I don't really think that needs to be on my YouTube channel, you know? But either way, like I said, we're going to play the video. It's going to be blurred, but you'll be able to hear the audio of what is being said.
Just caught a baby wombat.
Okay, so she's just picked up at this point. You hear the guy laughing, and she like runs away from the mother towards the camera.
Look at the mother. It's like, oh, it's chasing after her.
Yeah, so as you heard, the guy behind the camera saying, like, look at the mother, and at this point he's recording the mum, who's, like, kind of, like, running, like, after Sam, who's carrying, like, the baby. So it's not even just the fact that she's picked up this baby wombat and ran away from the mother whilst, like, laughing and whatnot, which already, again, I'm assuming, look, I'm not a fucking professional wombat, right? But I'm assuming that that would be very distressing. But it's also the intentions behind it, right? And I think the intentions become very clear when you're listening to what is being said during it, right? They're literally recording the mother and laughing and saying like, ah, look at the mother, while the mother's kind of like trying to run after her. Like, to me, they're clearly doing this just to try and get like a funny viral clip and don't really care for the animals in this situation. Now, this video has received a lot of backlash to the point where Sam ended up like privating her Instagram account, deleting the video and whatnot. But if we look at some articles, like this one's on the BBC, and it's kind of talking about what was said in the caption before the video was deleted, because like I said, the video's not there, we can't see the caption anymore. And the article states, her caption in the now deleted post read, "My dream of holding a wombat has been realised. Baby and mum slowly waddled back off together into the bush. The baby was carefully held for 1 minute in total, then released back to the mum. She wrote in the comments, responding to criticism. They wandered back off into the bush together, completely unharmed. I don't ever capture wildlife that will be harmed by my doing so." Okay, so that was Sam's initial response. But like I said, the backlash just started getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and this situation has went massive over the past couple of days, to the point where we actually have a response from the Prime Minister of Australia, which we'll get to in just a second. Also, a lot of people have been speaking about this over on TikTok, making videos talking about this situation. Like, there's this video in particular here from a TikToker called Yasmin.
Do you know what I saw last night on my reels? This woman picking up a baby wombat out of the wild with its mother. She picked up this fucking wombat and ran over, literally its legs swinging like this, giggling. The boyfriend behind the phone is literally laughing, going like, oh, she caught a baby wombat. Look at the mum running. Are you actually fucked? Are you fucked? Actually, don't answer that. Don't answer. Actually, you know what? Let me just show you the video.
Okay, so Yasmin goes on to show the video that we spoke about earlier, and then later on in the video, she goes on to talk about it further.
I don't understand. I don't understand. Why the actual fuck? Why would you do that? And apparently this woman claims she's like an environmental biologist and like, you know, any sort of environmental biologist. Just for reference, guys, I have a Bachelor of Science degree majoring in animal biology. So no professional, no one that actually gives a shit about animals treats animals like that. Please never do that. Never do that. It's like, what the actual, I don't understand. Like, oh yeah, so funny. You've just stressed the fuck out of that baby animal and its mother out. Do you, like, how funny is that? So fucking funny.
Now, like I mentioned earlier, a lot of people have been making videos in this situation. It was genuinely the majority of videos that I was seeing on my For You page this morning. Now, it's not only, like, TikTokers or people commenting on Instagram who have been voicing their opinions. Like I just mentioned, the Australian Prime Minister, Anthony Albanese, has also had to do, like, a press release talking about this.
To take a baby wombat from its mother and clearly causing distress from the mother is just an outrage. And you know, I suggest to this so-called influencer, maybe she might try some other Australian animals. Take a baby crocodile from its mother and see how you go there. Take another animal that can actually fight back rather than stealing a baby wombat from its mother. See how you go there.
So I think it's clear to see this situation became massive, right? There was a lot of talk about what was going to happen next. There was a lot of talk about the immigration authorities looking into it and seeing if she breached her visa. But the next thing we actually heard was that Sam Jones had left Australia. There's this article here from The Guardian, and the headline says, "Baby Wombat grabber Sam Jones leaves Australia after intense backlash, including from Prime Minister and Immigration Minister." So she had left Australia. I would assume would find it very hard to be able to get a visa again to go to Australia, just with how big this situation has got. But since Sam has left, she's released a couple of statements talking about this situation, and this was the first one. "This statement is provided in full and should not be excerpted or altered without permission. This is the only public statement I have made regarding this incident. When we found the mother and the Joey on the road, not moving, I was extremely concerned. As wombats are so often hit on Australian roads, I stopped to ensure they got off the road safely and didn't get hit. However, as is seen in the video, when I walked up to them, the Joey did not move or run off. I was concerned it may have been sick or injured and made the snap judgment to pick up the Joey and see if this was the case. I ran, not to rip the Joey away from its mother, but from fear she might attack me. The snap judgment I made in these moments was never from a place of harm or stealing a Joey." Yeah, look, right, so basically she is saying that she did this out of, like, the kindness of her heart, and she was just worried about, like, the health of this wombat. Look, from my personal opinion, from watching the video, I don't buy it. Like, the way they're laughing about it the whole way through, like, saying, like, "Ah, look at the mother," and all this stuff, it doesn't seem like that was what was happening in the video. Whilst I was unbelievably excited to see such an amazing animal, I looked at it over quickly and immediately returned it to its mother. I ensured that the mother and Joey did reunite, went off together, and that they got off on the road. Okay, so as we just read, Sam is saying that she returned the wombat to the mother, right? Now, there is, like, a bit further in the video. The majority of the video is just kind of Sam holding the wombat. The wombat's making, like, a bunch of noises. Again, not a professional with it when it comes to wombats by any means, right? But the wombat's making a bunch of noises while being held. And I will actually show a screenshot from the end of the video here, where Sam here has put the wombat back down, and you can see that the mother is nowhere to be seen. The baby wombat kind of just, like, runs into the bushes. Is it off camera and we just can't see it here? I'm not sure, right? But it looks like the mother has ran off at this point. So I'm not sure about that part in the statement either. I have done a great deal of reflection on the situation and have realised I did not handle the situation as best as I should have. Regardless, my only intent was to prevent these amazing animals from being hit, and making sure that Joey wasn't in need of immediate care. I have learned from this situation. I'm truly sorry for the distress I have caused. I want to make it absolutely clear that this was never about social media or getting likes. This was not staged, nor was it done for entertainment. In my excitement and concern, I acted too quickly and then failed to provide necessary context to viewers online. Okay, so that was the first statement. We then end up getting a second statement in a separate post. Now, this one is a lot longer. It's 2 pages, and on both pages there is a lot of text. So I'm going to show each paragraph on screen in full that you can read through, and I'm going to kind of paraphrase as we go through. "Am I a villain? Things, dear reader, are not as they seem. Over holding a wombat, thousands threaten my life." Then his next paragraph is basically saying that people need to understand the reality of Australia, and that the people that are angered by her mistakes and that she is a hunter should not be blind to their country. Then his next paragraph is talking about wombats and says that the Australian government allows and permits the slaughter of wombats, then goes into a lot of details of how she is saying this is done. Sam then goes into more details as to why this is done, and it's talking about how, like, wombats will, like, dig holes and whatnot, and this happens to protect their food, basically, that is growing on farms, like grapes and stuff, like wine. And then this next paragraph goes on to talk about how taxpayer dollars are used to fly around in helicopters and shooting animals, and goes into a lot more details. This next paragraph kind of talks about similar stuff, this time specifically about kangaroos. And then Sam ends it by kind of responding to the Prime Minister, saying that the Prime Minister wishes harm on her for picking up a wombat, and then goes on to say that the real issues that Australia faces, the lack of power for tens of thousands of Aussies and the treatment of its native wildlife, and then ends it by saying, "Then decide for yourself if I, a person who certainly makes mistakes, am really your villain." Okay, so clearly a much stronger statement than the first one, right? And a lot of people have also responded to this, like this video here by a TikToker called Chris, who goes on to address this statement, the second statement specifically, and this is what he says.
You've read this yet, but this is this woman that was caught accosting the 2 wombats, so the mother wombat and holding the baby wombat, for likes and views. What I find so inexcusable, like this woman here says, "I'm the villain." Yes, you are the villain actually, and your justification that goes on to say that farming causes more distress to wombats, etc., isn't even the argument. You're trying to deflect from the fact that you got caught doing something that you thought was a joke. Like, for most Australians, our native wildlife over here is a source of pride. We love our echidnas, we love our native stuff. Echidnas, wombats, kangaroos, emus, the whole lot. I think it would be incredible to find an Australian who actually doesn't love our wildlife. It is something that is inherently Australian. It's something that we are very proud of. And I think to get up there and try and say that farming kills more wombats, and it probably does, but that's not the argument here. The argument is that you are the villain. You need to learn your lesson, that you don't just go and pick up native wildlife. Like, I'm not going to go rushing into a bilby burrow and pull it out just for likes and views. That's not right.
And yeah, just like when the original video went viral, a lot of people have also been making videos on this response in particular. A lot of Australian people been making response to this response from Sam in particular. And yeah, people are not happy and not convinced by the response by any means. I haven't really seen anyone saying that they kind of agree with it. Now, what's going to happen next? I have no idea, right? Obviously, Sam has left Australia. She's released these big, massive statements. I assume we're probably not going to hear anything for a while. There might be like a TV interview or something. I wouldn't be surprised if that happens, with Sam in particular. But yeah, either way, like I said, this has definitely been the biggest situation over the past couple of days. It's all very new, so there's maybe like a lack of further updates that might happen in the future. But like I mentioned, let me know your thoughts on everything that we spoke about in today's video. And yeah, the original video, like when I first saw that, it's just sad because you hear the noises that the wombats make, and you don't get to see that they're reunited at the end of the video. It seemed like a pointless video to make, and judging by the way that they're laughing and like what they're saying in the video, to me, it doesn't seem like it was made with the best intentions of like, oh, I just want to make sure that they're okay, right? The way they're laughing, the way they're talking in the video, it seems like, oh, you know what, let's just do this for a laugh, joke about how the mother's like in distress. It wasn't a nice video, in my opinion. And yeah, like I said, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. And if you are new, please subscribe, all that stuff, and I'll see you tomorrow in the next video. Okay, goodbye.